This is the first of 5 video PD sessions on Understanding by Design, or UbD. The presentations are going to be video-based so that all the schools in TUSD get the same message and have the same opportunity to learn the critical components of each of the 3 stages of UbD. You may also know UbD as backwards design. The authors of UbD are the late Dr. Grant Wiggins and Dr. J. McTighe. UbD has been used over the past 30+ years. It is a tried and true framework for developing quality and coherent units. The sessions are timed to be 45 minutes in length. There will be times that I ask you to interact and share with colleagues in the room. As we know, teachers like to share experiences and have a lot of great things to share. But because of our time constraint, the presentation may pull you back to full group before you have finished your discussion. Our apologies in advance for that. Using the FIST to 5 response rubric, with a FIST being no understanding and a 5 being a very great understanding, show your facilitator with your fingers where you believe you are with your current knowledge of understanding by design. Our guiding questions for today's sessions are: what is understanding by design? What are the 3 stages of UbD? And why is it important that all 3 stages are aligned? Let's start thinking about instructional planning by engaging in an opening task. Please refer to the handout called Opening Task. Please complete the 6 prompts with your table and be ready to share with another table team. Here is a description of what UbD is all about.
The UbD framework offers a planning and structure to guide curriculum, assessment, and instruction. Its 2 key ideas are contained in the title. First, focus on teaching and assessing for understanding and learning transfer, and second, design curriculum backward from those ends.
The reason that UbD is so important is that it helps districts and schools to develop a guaranteed and viable curriculum. I am sure many of you have heard of Dr. Robert Marzano. He is well known in the field of educational research. In 2001, Dr. Marzano published a book called What Works in Schools. In his book, he refers to the 5 factors that have the greatest impact on student achievement. The number 1 factor is a guaranteed and viable curriculum. Second is challenging goals and effective feedback. Third, parental and community involvement. Fourth is a safe and orderly environment. And the 5th factor is staff collegiality and professionalism. Let's go back to that number 1 factor that affects student achievement, a guaranteed and viable curriculum. In a nutshell, here are 5 characteristics of a guaranteed and viable curriculum.
Define essential content, sequence and organize essential content, develop procedures and tools for monitoring curriculum, protect instructional time, implement a systematic review process.
UbD units define the essential content as well as sequence and organize the essential content. 2 of the 5 factors are covered through the UbD framework. The first 2 characteristics of a guaranteed and viable curriculum are covered in the UbD framework. Let's look at the 3 stages of UbD. Stage 1, identify desired results.
What is it that we want students to know, do, and understand at the end of the unit?
Stage 2, determine acceptable evidence.
How will students show evidence of learning?
Stage 3, plan learning experiences and instruction.
To what extent is the learning plan effective and engaging?
And the overall design?
To what extent is the entire unit coherent and aligned?
A unit is defined as coherent grouping of 5 to 20 consecutive lessons around one main concept based on the Arizona state standards. That means that at the end of the unit, the teacher will administer a summative assessment to his or her students, allowing the teacher to evaluate the unit's effectiveness. You now know the 3 stages of UbD. So let's see what a UbD template looks like and the components that make up each stage. At this time, we are going to discuss very briefly each of the 3 stages of UbD. These descriptions will be an overview to give you a surface understanding of each of them. Future UbD PDs will go more in depth with each of the 3 stages. Stage 1 is all about deciding what it is we want our students to know, do, and understand. The first thing to be done is to identify the highly leveraged standards that will be focused on in this unit. The criteria for choosing standards to be highly leveraged standards are the following:
critical for mastery, need to endure, cognitively demanding, contribute to cross-curricular understanding, AZ Merit Blueprints, and AIMS Science Blueprint.
Next, the designer needs to group the supporting and constant standards that align to and support the acquisition of the highly leveraged standards. Once that has been done, it is time to unwrap and stack all of the standards in the group. This can be done by a simple process of circling the verbs and underlining the noun or noun phrase. The verbs give us the depth of knowledge and the skill required for the students to learn, and the noun or noun phrase tell us the knowledge to be learned by the student. Once the unwrapping is complete, the designer stacks them in a chart for easy review. Let's take a look at an example of unwrapping and stacking. Here is a 5th grade reading information standard.
Explain how an author uses reasons and evidence to support particular points in a text, identifying which reasons and evidence support which points.
So, we follow the process of circling the verbs and underlining the noun or noun phrase. So here's what it might look like. And here's what it might look like when put in a chart. This unwrapped standard has 2 standard segments noted by the 1 and 2. The last 3 components to complete Stage 1 are to develop the enduring understandings, the essential questions, and the 6 to 8 academic vocabulary terms to be mastered in this unit. Once this is done, you have completed developing Stage 1 of your UbD unit. Stage 2 is all about creating the summative assessment, then the pre-assessment, and lastly, thinking about any other evaluative evidence to be included to show evidence of a student's learning. In Stage 3, it is time to
sequence the unwrapped standard segments, place and create formal formative assessments, write objectives for each lesson, design activities for each lesson, and determine a closure or exit ticket for each lesson aligned to the objective.
This is UbD at its 3 stages in a nutshell. At this point, the designer goes back and looks for alignment between and within each of the 3 stages. I hope that you have gotten a clearer understanding of the importance for using Understanding by Design as a framework for creating quality and coherent units. It is time for our closure or exit card. Please write your response to the 2 questions on the slide. Leave your index card with your facilitator. Thank you for your time and engagement today. Our next UbD sessions will go into greater depth with designing each of the 3 stages of UbD.